And boom, we're live. And we all know what day it is. It's May 4th. May the 4th be with you, Obi-Wan Castelli.
May the 4th be with you.
Dude, we didn't say anything about powering up lightsabers. Come on, man.
Come on,
Bastard. Well, if I would have known, I would have came prepared. The one behind me is just for show. It's just in a box.
what? I'm always prepared.
Oh, man. I'm trying to figure something out. So how come... All right, well, there's that. All right, well, Mike, thanks for joining.
Oh, thank you, Joe, for
Pleasure
having
meeting
me, buddy.
you. And as I said, happy May 4th.
Happy May 4th to you, buddy. May the 4th be with you.
And also with you, dude. It's actually kind of an exciting day to be a Star Wars fan. And obviously, if you stumbled across this channel and you're watching it live, you should know by now we're going to be talking Star Wars. So if that's not your gig, if that's not your deal, I'm sorry in advance, but this is what we're going to be talking about. I got a couple of news stories that broke today. A couple of things that were released today for the May 4th celebration by Disney and Disney Plus. So we're going to go into that and a few other things. Anything you want to talk about? Proud of being a Star Wars fan. It could be about anything in general. Anything Star Wars you'd want to maybe top the show off with. The floor is yours.
Well, thanks, Joe. Very proud to be a Star Wars fan on a day like today. I think this is where everybody really sets aside everything that they know and love about Star Wars and comes together. It's exciting that I can't believe that I'm 40 years old and I just saw a new Star Wars movie, a couple months ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's mind-boggling that in December a new Star Wars movie came out, right before Christmas.
We've been getting that. We've been spoiled. We've been getting that since 2015. So we had
Christmases, Star Wars Christmases.
We had at least 4 Star Wars Christmases if you include Rogue One.
Mm-hmm.
Solo's the only one that veered off the path and released in May. But yeah, we've been spoiled the last few years. I mean, one can argue about quality and content, but other than that, dude, putting that aside, it was an exciting time to be a Star Wars fan. It really was.
It still is, and I'm sure that the future is going to bring a lot of great things, especially with the new Mandalorian season coming out.
Right.
I can't wait for that. All these possible pilots, that they're talking about for, different shows. Like I think it was the Kylo Ren story. Right? Isn't that one of them that they're talking about making a show?
Speculation, but we are going to dive. That is definitely something that we're going to touch up on. On this episode is, basically Disney's plans for the future.
I mean, it was a very exciting last couple of years. Like you said, with the Star Wars Christmases and everything. But I will say it's also a sad time too. A sad time because along with that 3 years, it had to finish the 9 episodes, of the Star Wars saga.
Yeah.
And it wasn't going to last forever.
Right.
And yeah, now it's kind of like just knowing that you'll never continue on that saga that started, from before I was born and throughout my childhood. It's kind of a sad thing to sit back to. You just know it's never going to be like that ever again, But, you still have the movies. You can always watch them. But that anticipation of will there be another movie, that's based on this, it's just not there no more. But like I said, a lot of great and more exciting things to move on forward with. And let's not talk about the sad things. Let's talk about all the positive things, like what's going to be coming out, especially collectible wise. There's a plethora of collectibles. I have some on order, and I know there's a lot of them that are coming out. And I also, once this whole mess that we're in, I would hope maybe down the road, I'd love to make a trip to Disney again, just to visit the Star Wars exhibit that they have with the making the lightsabers and everything.
Okay,
I think that would be really cool, man, just to experience that. And I know there's a lot of new attractions they put in Star Wars World, or whatever they call it, that little section that they have for Star Wars over at Hollywood Studios, I think it is now. They had that whole exhibit there. So I think it'd be really, really great, for the future to come. And I think they're going to continue pumping out some really great collectibles and some really great movies and some really great, just stories down the line, and I think they're going to really keep it going. Disney. I don't think they're going to let it die.
Well, I would love to. I've been wanting to go to. You're talking about Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge,
Disney.
correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do that. I mean, obviously, they say all the reviews say you need to bring a ton of money, and to be honest with you, there's really not a lot to do once you spend that money. It's really all about, okay, you see a few things, all right, and then after those few things, it's just gift shop and stuff like that. Really quick, Matt says, "Hi guys,
what's up, Matt? How you
up,
doing?
Matt?
I'm glad you
Thanks
could join us.
Yeah, we missed you in last night's stream, but thank you for popping in for the support, dude.
And may the 4th be with you.
Yes, is Matt a Star Wars fan?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure. Who isn't a Star Wars fan, Joe? That's the better question.
I actually know a lot of people that aren't.
Yeah, that's sad.
But going back to what you were saying, it's not just about being spoiled and, well, no, I'm sorry. What you said about how it sucks that, pretty much the Skywalker saga is over and stuff like that. But remember, because you're 40, I'm 40, I'm going to be 42 this year. There was a huge gap where we didn't know if we were going to get any movies post Return of the Jedi, and then we were treated with the prequels, which ended in 2005. And then we went another, 10 years before another one came out, and there was all this talk, is there going to be an episode 7? Are we going to get a 7? And for years, Lucas said he wasn't going to do it. And then finally he sold it to Disney, and Disney said, I think they announced it in 2012 that they were going to be working on episode 7, 8, and 9. And everyone went crazy, So I mean,
that was I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that was the talk since I was a kid. That was the talk that there's going to be 9 movies.
Yeah.
That's what the talk always was, even before the first 3. Yeah.
Well, supposedly he wrote drafts for 12.
Well, that might be something to consider. Could there be 12 movies?
Well, here we go. It's funny that you brought this up, and you and I really didn't talk about any of the topics we're about to discuss. So I think it's kind of cool that you did say you made a mention of this, and this was something that I wanted to go over in the show, and that is the Skywalker saga complete? And I mean that in 2 ways. Do you honestly think that they're never going to either maybe do an episode 10? It could be an episode 10. Do another trilogy post 9, but a tie-in to the Skywalker saga, or maybe even do movies that tie in between before episode 1. So like when so let's say they do go the Old Republic era. Now I know the Old Republic era is thousands of years before, I believe, episode 1 happens. Again, if I'm wrong, then you can always, if anybody's watching, please correct me in the comments or the chat. But, it's a very huge gap. But what I'm saying is maybe after several movies of that era and leading into, different eras afterwards that they can build on, maybe, just maybe, that leads into the story of Plagueis, that leads into the story of Sidious, and we're somewhat connected once again to the Skywalker saga. Now, I honestly don't think these characters are gone forever. I think there'll be mentions of them. I think there might be tie-ins, and there might even be subsequent tie-in movies to these things. So I don't think the Skywalker saga is over. But then the other question is, and I think you know what I mean by this, did they really complete it in the right way, where you're satisfied and say, you know what, I can say my Skywalker saga is complete?
Well, to answer on what you're saying, I really feel like that's a good point that you brought up. Something that I didn't really think about until like right this second, which I'm glad that we brought this up. The possibility, I didn't even know, I wasn't even aware that Lucas had originally 12 drafts, or allegedly 12 drafts.
That's what he said. Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly 12 drafts. I mean, it would be really nice to see if when he sold them the saga, and the franchise, if he provided those extra drafts, or if Disney has any way of obtaining it.
I believe somebody went on record, I forgot who it was, saying that they saw them. Or he actually, or Lucas might have even revealed them to somebody. Honestly, I don't really know the specifics when it comes to that. I just know that there were originally 12 movies in his version, a version of his story told in 12 movies.
Well, that'd be great if there is, but I'd like to see more than 12 movies. And you know what I think would be a really great thing, that they can keep the saga going even longer than it already has going. Now you got to ask yourself, is that really a good idea to do? Do you want to really keep adding on the Skywalker saga? I say yes, because I think so many people are into it. So many people are feeling it. And I still think for at least the next 15, I mean, I'd say probably at least the next 15, 20 years, you're going to have fans that still, that are still around. I mean, I don't want to say still alive, because, but unfortunate truth is, a lot of people that saw that movie that are fans, they might have been older when they saw it. They might have not been, younger like us when we first saw it. They might have been older. And you figure maybe at least a good 15, 20 more years worth of fans that are going to be able to still follow it and still want to see something about it. Right. And I think after that, then maybe, focusing on new stories might be something for the future. And I don't know how far they'll even go with it at that point, if Star Wars will even be a thing, 20, 30 years from now. But in the way it's been going, in the way it's going, I think it will be. I think Star Wars is something that might outlive me, and maybe outlive you. And
it's definitely it'll definitely outlive a lot of us. And I think worst case scenario, and I hope they don't ever do this, but I mean, dude, just to keep it going and just to keep that cash coming in, they could even say, you know what, 20, 30 years down the road, or maybe even beyond that, fuck it, let's reboot it. Let's start it from scratch, Well,
I hope they wouldn't, because I think that would,
we won't be around, so it wouldn't matter. I hope so too, but well,
you never know. They might make a really awesome reboot, but I've seen that happen with technology. Who knows? Yeah. But getting back on the whole thing, what I'd like to really see, as far as if the Skywalker saga is complete or not, I would really like to see them do kind of like a double take on what they did in the original. They had their original, episodes 4, 5, and 6. Then they went back to 1, 2, and 3, and then they went 7, 8, 9.
Right.
So what would be really kind of cool, obviously we can't really start from the middle now, because we already are in the middle. We started from the middle. I would say just go out the same way that we came in. Let's go 3 more episodes talking about the Old Republic leading into, over a period of time, into the episode 1. And then I would say after that, a few more years pass, then maybe come out with an episode 10, 11, and 12 that will continue the saga with the new characters, And the thing is, they can't wait too long with that, because you don't know if these new characters are the new actors and actresses that are playing the new characters are going to even want to be a part of it down the road. Because, it's been weird. You would think that a lot of characters, they wouldn't want to miss out on something like that they got their stardom and fame from, where they really got super stardom from. But a lot of actors don't want to keep doing it. Like, for instance, look at Harrison Ford. He didn't want to be typecast. A lot of those actors didn't want to be typecast, and unfortunately, a lot of them were.
Right. No, and that's the truth. That is the truth.
So,
and they've gone
sooner
on
is
to
better
say,
than later.
They've gone on to say a lot of the newest stars in this sequel trilogy had come on the record saying, and I don't know how much. Honestly, I hate listening to speculation unless they really come out on record saying it. But they have supposedly said that they don't want to return. I know Kylo Ren, Adam Driver had said that he didn't want to do anything. Now, obviously his character's dead, but like, how we were talking about, you had mentioned a possible, the rise of Kylo Ren, or showing like the fall of Ben Solo, like they did in the comic books. To bring that to live action would be awesome. But the thing is, I don't know if Adam Driver wants to do it. Daisy Ridley said, I don't think she wants to do it anymore. Finn, his name is eluding me. It's bothering me. John Boyega, he has said that he doesn't want to, so I don't know. And maybe if enough people do decide to come back for some type of iteration of their character, whether it's a cameo or, like I said, maybe even like a spinoff of that nature where their story's involved. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to return. And that really, and like you said, you can't wait too long on that. I mean, they're young actors, don't get me wrong, but you can't wait on, and you most certainly can't wait on bringing Mark Hamill back for any type of cameo as Luke, Force Ghost Luke. I mean, he's getting older as well. He's the same age. He's actually older now than Alec Guinness was as Obi-Wan in the original trilogy. So
right, yeah, it's a shame. I really would like to have seen more of his character in these last few, episodes. It just that's one of the disappointments I had in them. And I would have liked to see a lot more of the original characters too. They were mostly, I mean, with the exception of Leia and I don't even want to say Luke, with the exception of Leia. Really, she was the one that really had the most role, I think. And even after she passed away, the computer imaging or whatever they did to keep her in that movie, she still had more of a role than almost every character.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's only one. And Chewie had, I'd probably say Chewbacca, and then obviously the original characters, C-3PO and R2-D2. But other than them, a lot of the rest, Han Solo was off quick.
Dude, R2 had like no role. They barely used R2. They really did. They did that character a huge disservice. And I know they wanted to roll out, no pun intended, BB-8, but like R2 was such a pivotal character in 6 movies, and then to sideline him like that, for the next 3, just I don't know.
Well, I'll tell you, man. BB-8 was a cool character, and I jumped right on board when I saw it. I thought it was pretty cool. But in no way, shape, or form could BB-8 ever take the place of R2-D2 in my book. And like, as a matter of fact, I ran out. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but I ran out and I bought when BB-8, when the first movie came out, I bought that Sphero BB-8 you control with your phone.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I bought it. I used it like 2 times, and now it's sitting in my room. I actually was talking about trying to sell it. Yeah. And Jerry has one too, and he put it up on eBay, and nobody's even bidding on it. Yeah. So it's like I don't even know what to do with the thing. I guess hold on to it.
There's a lot of issues I've been reading up on. There's a lot of issues with the newest Star Wars toys, the newest Star Wars collectibles. They lost their value, widely. It's crazy. Like I went out, I bought a lot of these die-cast Elite Series Star Wars figures from Disney. And I was spending, dude, anywhere between $30 and $50 because a couple of them I had to order through eBay because Disney was sold out. Dude, they're selling for like $9, $12.
Well, ridiculous. Some of these, what it is? I think anything Disney is going to be so mass produced and not done on a small scale. I'm not saying the quality is going to be bad, but it's just going to be very mass produced. Like for instance, that Yoda that I showed you on the second episode we did when we filmed it downstairs. Right. That Yoda. That thing it's an amazing toy, and you know what? Disney.
That's not an old character, though. I mean, that's not a new character. That's
no, but it's an old character, but a new toy. You know what I'm saying? And it was very short lived. It's
Yoda.
I mean, it's Yoda, but still. I mean, all right. So let's use.
I'm talking about the new characters that went into production. I'm talking about Finn. I'm talking about Rey, Kylo Ren. They don't hold up, and it has nothing to do with. And it's a lot of the toy lines. It's the Black Series, which is very popular. It's a lot of the toy lines that I watched a whole YouTube video about how sales were not that good, and sales actually no, I'm lying. Sales might have been good. Definitely not for the last movie that came out, but. It's like like I said, their value did not hold up. It didn't.
Well, even the lightsabers, over the years, remember when these things first came out? I mean, obviously not this one. There's a custom made one that I built, but the ones that we first bought, like the Force effects that you have in the back there, those lightsabers when they first came out were like what, $170?
Yeah.
$170 to $200,
Right.
And they were holding their value strong because there was just such a little release of them that came out. They would have just a few of them made from master replicas, and then that's it. And then honestly, I'm not going to knock that, but when Hasbro took over the making of the lightsabers, I do believe the quality improved with the detachable blades and everything. Great idea.
Right.
The quality improved, but at the same point, the mass production of those lightsabers and the cheaper costs of them and the fact that they weren't really a limited product anymore, like master replicas. I mean, yeah, technically master replicas lightsabers were never numbered like a lot of other master replica items. A lot of the master replica items and prop replicas were actually numbered. Like the lightsaber hilts, not the actual Force effect stuff. Like those master replica lightsabers is big money now. And they were all numbered. If you find them, they're a lot of money and people collect those. Those are the more accurate, screen accurate prop replicas, but they didn't do anything. And that was the thing. As the toys got better with Hasbro, it kind of like cheapened the sense of the collector's point of view at it, which kind of, it was good because you get better quality toys for less price. But dude, they're a dime a dozen. You can go and buy the same lightsaber that I bought 10 years ago, and you could find it anywhere. There's so many different ones now. Like remember, they started off with one. It was the Anakin. Then they came out with the Luke and the Darth Vader, and then I think they did come out with a Yoda one originally, master replicas, and then maybe a Mace Windu if I remember correctly. And then that was it. And then they went over to Hasbro. There was like 8 million lightsabers. The Darth Maul, the double saber. You put two of them together. You have to buy two sabers. You can connect them together and make the staff. There's so many of them, and it was like now they weren't even collectible because you could buy them at any toy store, Toys R Us. It was no more like you had to wait for it, order it, pre-order it. It took away the collectability of it, which in one aspect it's good because more people get it. But in the other aspect, it's bad because if you want to buy something and invest in a toy or a collectible that's going to gain value over the years, it's just, that's it. And here's another thing I see in your background.
Is the Skywalker Saga complete?
Well, like we said,
I also went in that direction too. But why are we talking about toys?
Well, I mean, we know what we veer off, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
What are we going to say about behind me? What's behind me?
But real quick, when we're talking about toys.
Right.
I see the figures you have that are in between the lightsaber and the shelf with the Vader head.
Yeah.
The one on the third shelf, those Star Wars figures in the bubbles.
Yeah.
I had bought one. I don't know if you bought one with me. I think you were with me when I bought it in Toys R Us. There was a Toys R Us exclusive Yoda figure that was like the Force Yoda, where he was like a purpley clear.
I have that one, and I have the Emperor.
I have the only Yoda.
I think I have him. There, hold on one second. I'll tell you right now. Hold on.
Okay.
We're live, buddy.
Yeah, we're live. Oh, wow. You have a lot of them, dude. I didn't know you had that many. There's even more behind
this is all that I put up. You're talking about this one, right?
Yeah, that's the one. And you see it says
Toys R Us exclusive. Yeah.
I still have mine still in the box, just like that, never opened. Do you think, I'm just saying, you think the stuff that was Toys R Us exclusive stuff like that, like, you think that stuff might go a little bit more in value now and become more collectible because Toys R Us doesn't exist anymore?
Nope.
You don't think so?
Nope. Doesn't mean shit. You know how many things I have that I bought that says Best Buy exclusive, Toys R Us exclusive. But you can't see, and I really don't feel like reaching for it. But at the very top shelf, I have a Force Lightning Emperor Sidious, and then to his left, I have his purple version, which makes no sense because
he was not
can't turn into Force Ghosts.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
I don't know. Yeah. That's why I bought it. I was like, all right, maybe this is. I
didn't even know. Honestly, I didn't even see that, dude. I never even saw that figure. I didn't even know they made one.
Yeah,
I knew about the Yoda. But
you know what? Now I'm curious to see what it's fucking called because that doesn't make any sense. Oh, you know what it might be? It might be a hologram. I'm sorry, it's a hologram. Hologram Sidious. That's what it is.
Okay.
All right. So really quick. Well, the reason why I said that is I feel like. The reason why I'm bothered by it, and I feel like even if they were to make a 10 and 11 and 12, and they could easily bring in Rey, they could easily bring in Finn and other characters, but the problem is it's never going to be about the Skywalker Saga anymore. They can call it episode 10 and 11 and 12, but it's not the Skywalker Saga.
Because the further you get away from it and veer out,
there's no more
timeline.
There's no bloodline. That's it.
But is there not a bloodline though? There has to be a bloodline before Anakin?
Apparently, no. And apparently, Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, after Leia died, was the last to carry the Skywalker blood, and they killed him off.
Bloodline, but now remember, she said at the end of the movie, Rey said
bloodline.
Right, bloodline, but it's not.
I'm not.
Saga,
that doesn't fucking count.
Okay, we can still do Saga like that.
I'm not, and granted, I know in real life you have adoptions and whatever, and I'm not saying that they can't carry on the name, but that's not the bloodline.
It's not. No, the bloodline's over.
And it's a shame because the way they extended it and I never really read Legends, but the way they were able to, when there was nothing after Return of the Jedi, and these authors came out and they wrote stuff that wasn't canon or was considered canon then until it was scrapped. They wrote these legend stories with Luke Skywalker and Mara Jade, and they had twins, and Leia and Han had twins, and one of them was evil, one of them was good. It was almost like a Cain and Abel kind of thing, and that's what carried the bloodline, is because they each had kids.
Well, there is that one opportunity that they can do something as another idea I thought of that they could do to keep the Skywalker saga alive and not be completed.
Luke had an illegitimate child.
No, they could do what we talked about a couple of shows ago. They can actually go after Return of the Jedi, but before The Force Awakens. In that gap there's enough space where they could actually make three more movies.
Well, not maybe three. Maybe we don't. And that's the thing. I don't need a trilogy. I would
Okay,
love
not
a
even a trilogy.
but if
Let's say two more movies.
Yeah.
If you said there was 12, maybe you can do that. You can bridge the gap between Return of the Jedi to Force Awakens, and then you can bridge the gap from from the Revenge of the Sith. You could from the Revenge of the Sith
and A New Hope
to A New Hope. There's got to be a bridge there. Maybe go Dark Side from that one, and then Jedi after.
No,
after
and
that.
they can easily do that, but then you have to take away the episodic. They can't be episodic anymore. You have to scrap. You can't call it 10, 11, and 12, and just
what they could do.
They can just make what?
No, they can call it 3.5.
No, that's stupid.
No, they could. But they could though. They could call it
I
episode
know.
3.5.
No,
what episode? You know what they could do? They call it episode 3.1, 3.2,
no,
3.3 if they needed 3. I mean, they could do it though. I mean,
you don't have to. I mean, Rogue One
have to, but it's
technically Rogue One is 3.5.
Right. So then you could continue off that. You don't have to call it. You don't have to call it 3.5. You just call it a Star Wars story. Technically, it falls into the saga.
Well, and that's what they were going to do, but then Solo ruined it. Not Solo didn't ruin it, but the failure of Solo and the way they handled it, the way it was.
Just go back in there.
So if they could make side movies like we talked about the last stream, yeah, but that's the only way they can really add to the Skywalker saga, unless they go backwards and they lead up until Plagueis and Sidious.
I mean, that would be great too. I love to, and I also, like I said before, Yoda. That's another character that we don't really know much about.
No.
I would like to hear some more about Yoda,
and I think that's what and I'm hoping that's what the child is going to try to tell us. Maybe give us a hint. And no, but if it is the same species, it might give us a backstory to Yoda, and maybe they can touch up on that in another movie. But so I don't know, but. I don't know.
It's a tough thing. Nobody's going to really know until it actually ever happens, if it does happen. And we don't know. I mean, I sure as hell tell you one thing. I sure as hell hope it's not the last of the Skywalker saga. But if it is, I hope that we'll get some good stuff that will pick up right where we left off. Okay.
All right. And now we're going to talk about, let's talk about future for now, what we know. All right. And this is only the series is now, the TV series. We're not talking about, right now, we're not talking about movies, but obviously we got the Mandalorian season 2 coming out. That's coming out just a few months in October. That's set. You still got Obi-Wan coming out. Even though they stumbled a little bit in January with the writer, they picked up a new writer. I believe his name is, I wrote this down somewhere, Joby Harold. So he'll be the new writer, and supposedly it did not do anything to change the release date. They're still looking to go in production in early of 2021. So we still have that. And next in line was actually supposed to be this Cassian Andor series, but because of what's going on right now with the pandemic, that's been on hold as well. And then just recently in the news, they were talking about, I think Variety was the one that broke the story, about a female-centric Disney Plus series. And there was a lot of debate, and there was a lot of controversy of hold on one second. Matt says, we don't know enough about baby Chewie to adulthood. They should make a movie with subtitles, of course.
Yeah,
you got it.
I mean, Matt, they did do that, Matt. It was called the Christmas special.
Oh my God.
They told us about Chewie's family and his children,
Yeah, but that's not about his childhood.
No, it's not. I know. I'm just kidding. Yeah. I'm kidding. I just had to use that. Yeah.
So there was
a dreaded Christmas special.
There was a lot of controversy over the way it was worded. Did they really have to say? Because there was nothing else given about this series, other than it was going to be the showrunner was going to be Leslie Headland, and if it's female centric, it's going to be led by a female character or female characters, and it's like, okay, look, I get Obi-Wan is a male character, right? The Mandalorian is a male character. Cassian Andor is a male character. So I understand you want to change it up. You want to bring in maybe a female director. You want to maybe bring in, although Obi-Wan has a female director in Deborah Chow, and she's amazing. Mm-hmm. But was there a point? Like, did they have to say, guess what? A new Star Wars show is coming out, and there's going to be some women in it. Like,
no, because
just make
Rey was the main character.
Yeah, exactly. In all 3 movies.
Yeah. She was a leading character.
So the thing is, like, just give us a good fucking Star Wars show. That's it.
Right. I think, I think this whole, like, I'm sorry to interrupt it, but just this whole idea of having to try and change something just to make it like, so it's not all more one thing, either male or female. It's kind of stupid, because by doing that, it kind of shows that you're actually like forcing it. Let it naturally happen.
Right.
Like with Rey. That was
Right.
the way they did that was perfect. The character fit in perfect. She was a headlining character for three episodes. And then even, like I said before, even Princess Leia, she took a lot of leading role stuff in those movies,
Right. Right.
So you had it right there,
I mean, the story was about Luke, though. It was always about Luke being whatever, and then obviously Anakin before him. But you're right.
But I'm
But
saying you
Leia
got a
was
lot of
a strong
role.
female character.
Right.
Right.
And
I'm not disagreeing with that. But the thing is, like I was saying, is just and no, but actually, adding more to your point is like, as long as they're not giving underqualified men directors, right?
Yeah.
The opportunity just because they're men and passing on these amazing female directors. As long as that's not happening, just pick a director that's right for the job. That's all I care about. I don't care about gender. I honestly don't. If you told me that we were going to get episodes 10, 11, and 12, guess what, guys? We changed our mind. We're going to add to the Skywalker Saga. We're going to add more. We're going to bring back these characters. And I don't know, Deborah Chow is going to be the director in all three. She's going to be doing the next trilogy. I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, man, a female director is going to get the next three movies. Fuck. She showed what she can do in Mandalorian. Those two episodes, the two episodes that she directed in The Mandalorian are two of my favorites. I mean, I also like the one that Taika directed as well, but I think he directed two as well. I know he directed.
See, I don't know which episodes those were, and I don't even know about the different directors. I just watched it as a whole, and no matter what, I try not to let the directors influence my
no, and I try not either. But there were one episode, and I love all of them. Don't get me wrong, but there were a few episodes that were a little weaker than the others. I think the first one was a little weaker, but that was also because it was slow and they had to
get the story going. Yeah,
exactly. They were introducing the series.
Yeah.
It wasn't bad in any form, but it was definitely not the strongest one. And so what I'm saying is, I'm not, as a Star Wars fan, I don't care. So it's just, again, did they really need to emphasize the female centric? And again, I don't see and the argument is too that it wasn't Lucasfilm, it wasn't Disney that came out and described it that way. It was whoever's reporting it because it was in the body of the story, but they had to have gotten it from somewhere, So I don't know. But there are a lot of things. Well, the good news is, though, there are a lot of things that are on the horizon. I'm not going to lie. The female-centric Disney series doesn't bother me. The one thing the one thing that I'm really not interested in, and I'll tell you right now, is this Cassian Andor series.
I don't even know what that is.
He's from Rogue One.
I don't remember.
He was not Diego Luna. What was his name? The one that dies at the end of the movie with the main girl. They die on the beach. Yeah, from the blast.
Yeah. Okay. And it's going to be a story based on him? A series based on him?
Series based on him. Yeah.
I don't think he's that
like
good of a character to have a series about.
Who asked for that?
I'm not even realizing who it was. You have to refresh my memory to even.
I mean, and that's the thing. It's like who asked for that? It's the same thing with the Solo movie. Okay, thank you.
Solo was Solo, man. Come on.
But nobody asked for it. Everybody wanted Obi-Wan or
right.
Or Boba Fett or even Yoda, but come on. Or Luke. Yeah.
Like I said, there's so many opportunities that ties back into that first question. Is the Skywalker Saga dead? There's so many movies that you can veer off of it and keep it going. It might not have to be part of the saga, like you said, in that particular order, but come on, man. There's so many opportunities. Like you said, Obi-Wan movie, Luke movie, Yoda movie, even if you want to go dark side, you can go Anakin after Vader, from when he first turned Vader into that side story on what he done when he was powerful. I
think their best bet with that, though, if they were going to do something like that, is a Disney series. I think to make a standalone Vader movie, I'm not saying it won't make money, because everybody that loves Star Wars loves Vader even more. Like, you'll have your Star Wars fans, right? Let's say you put 50 people in a room. 30 of them are probably going to like Star Wars. but I
Right.
guarantee you more than 30 of them are going to love Vader.
Right. And now here's the thing that's been bothering me. I don't know if it bothers you, but in the Revenge of the Sith, remember at the very end of the movie, you do remember because you were sitting right next to me, when he takes his first breath as Vader?
Yeah.
He's there taking his first breath as Vader. He's screaming in like upset and anger that Padme had died during childbirth.
Right.
And then we see him on a ship yelling at Princess Leia. How many years later? What happened? How did he get to that point?
I know that. And there's so
You know what I'm
much.
saying?
No, and
There's
there's so much story to tell. And they're going to tell you, oh, well, there's comic books out. There's a Vader series comic books that tie in that old. I don't want to read the comics.
I don't want to read the comics. I want in the movie. Yeah, I want it to be on screen.
I think that eventually is going to happen. I really do. But I
honestly hope they do it before, God forbid, what's his face passes away.
I think they have enough. There's two things they can do. I think they might have enough in a vault, audio, not audio. What you know what I'm talking about? Soundboards or whatever, like recordings of his voice where they can do something. Or there are a lot of people that can probably imitate or emulate James Earl Jones' voice. It's not going to be the best.
He's got a very distinct voice, man.
No, I know.
You know, I would really like to see James Earl Jones be the voice of Vader if they were going to make a Vader movie.
And I'll be honest, he and I get it because he's older now. But if you take his iconic voice and then you rewatch Rogue One, his voice did not sound right as Vader in Rogue One because he's older. It didn't.
Well, yeah, he's older, yeah.
But I think they're honestly.
You know what? I might watch Rogue One later on just to see what you're talking about because I never really looked at it that closely.
When he says, "Don't let your be careful not to choke on your aspirations," director, like the way his voice it didn't hit the same notes as he did when he was younger. I mean, and also I'm not faulting the guy. The guy's what, 90?
Is he really that old?
Yeah, dude, he's got to be at least if he's not 90, he's got to be in his late 80s.
I thought it was his early 80s, late 70s, early 80s.
Shit, I hope not, because then I just aged him. I think, dude, I really think if they wanted to go a trilogy route without being episodic, their best bet is just to go old school, and that's Old Republic. I know they were talking about High Republic for a while, but I really think the best way to do it is do Old Republic, start from scratch, start from characters that not everybody's familiar with, and that way there won't be such a divide because we don't know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? And then if you do it right, whether it's 3 movies or even 6 movies, as I said, you can lead into the rise of Plagueis and what his character was, because we know nothing of him other than, books and comics, and then Sidious and how he overthrows and how he turns on his master. And that's it. And then you're caught up to the Skywalker Saga. Then you're caught up.
Right. Then you could say the Skywalker Saga is over.
Yeah. And again, it won't have anything to do with Skywalker per se, but it's
part of the saga.
To the exactly.
Right.
And that leads into the next thing. The next big news today. It was reported that Taika Waititi will direct and co-write a new Star Wars film for theatrical release. So it's not going to be a Disney series or a Disney Plus movie. This is going to be a movie that's going to be going to film. It didn't say trilogy. It just says that he's going to co-write. And he's going to direct and he's going to co-write. The co-writer is, I wrote her name down. It's Crystal Wilson Carnes. And she co-wrote the movie 1917 that I was talking about forever with Sam Mendes.
But wait a second. So if you're saying it's not a Disney release, how is that possible? If the Disney has the rights to it, how can he make a movie
No. It's not going to be a Disney Plus series, is what I'm saying.
You said a movie.
It's a movie. Yeah, it's not going to be,
and it's going to be released in a theater.
Yeah, it's not going to be a series like Mandalorian is a show.
Right. But so this is a definite thing.
This is a movie. No, and Taika Waititi. And again, honestly, you got to take everything as a grain of salt. I'm not saying that what was reported today, because it was everywhere on the internet. I'm not saying what they gave us was false news or false reporting. I'm just saying, I mean, look what's happened to other movies and their directors, and what's, right before Solo, they got rid of their director. Right, there was issues with Rogue One, a lot of rewrites. So if all goes well, this is happening, is what I'm saying. And Taika Waititi obviously did a couple of episodes of The Mandalorian, including the finale, which I thought was one of the better episodes that wasn't Deborah Chow. Obviously, he did Thor Ragnarok. He did Jojo Rabbit, which I loved.
That was a good movie. Yeah, I like that movie.
I mean, and obviously non-Star Wars, but a phenomenal movie. So he has proven that he can direct. He's proven he can act as well. He's a funny guy, but I trust it. I trust this more than Rian Johnson. And I have nothing against Rian Johnson. I'm not knocking it. I'm not here to knock The Last Jedi. I'm just saying that I think if they go the safe route, because of how divisive The Last Jedi was, look, I saw the movie Knives Out that just came out last year with Rian Johnson. I thought it was a great movie. I've seen Rian Johnson's other movies. I love Looper. But I just feel like I don't think it's going to happen with him. I don't think he's going to get a trilogy. Obviously, the trilogy that everybody was talking about with the Game of Thrones creators, that's not happening. They backed out. They said they backed out because Netflix gave them a good deal with the show, but also was or a movie. I think it's either a series or a movie. But the other thing is too, I heard they backed out because of the toxicity of the fandom as well. So there was a lot of things that were put out a year or two ago that have changed. So that is why I said, like, as of now, this is what is reported and this is what's going to happen. And I trust it. I do trust Taika Waititi, and I think Disney also does as well. So I don't know. What do you think? What do you think of him directing, and what kind of Star Wars movie you think it'll be?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know too much about these directors, so I really couldn't even give you any type of input on that, honestly.
But I mean, you've seen his style. You've seen Thor Ragnarok.
Right. I don't particularly know much about him, but I've seen Ragnarok. Ragnarok was a very good movie.
Yeah.
And I liked it a lot. That could be just because I'm a huge Thor fan, but I will say that Ragnarok was one of my least like Thor movies. You know?
I think we talked about this before, and I don't want to get into that with that.
I know.
Yeah, because it's Marvel, but I happen to think that was one of the better ones. I did like it. I like his style of directing. I like his humor a lot. So I thought that one was a little bit better than the second one. I do like the first one though a lot. But
yeah,
I don't know.
If you want to take it, Marvel and Disney are now all the same. So it all kind of ties in.
No, it does.
Really too far off the beaten
you're not
path,
veering.
you know?
Yeah, exactly. You're not, and that's why I think they chose him, is because he's in the Marvel family. They've seen what he can do as far as a director of a movie with that and with Jojo Rabbit, and then of course they were able to see what he did with the Star Wars platform in the Mandalorian, and of course the Mandalorian season 2, which everybody's excited about.
Yeah, I can't wait to see that.
I definitely can't wait to see that. So a lot of good things were released today. As far as news, we got this news. I just we'll go into that right now. Disney Plus released the first part. It's an 8-part docuseries. It's called The Disney Gallery, The Mandalorian, which is just behind the scenes stuff. Like the first one they just released today was about the directors. So you not knowing much about the directors and who was actually doing what in the series, this tells you a lot more about who the directors were. Gotcha. So it was a very informative 30-minute show, which is good. And then, like I said, there's another 7 parts. And then, of course, Disney went ahead and dropped, obviously not way too early, because I'm sure a lot of Star Wars fans that that weren't like us and bought the digital version of it when it first came out like over a month ago. But they did release way early The Rise of Skywalker on Disney Plus, which was a huge treat to fans. So,
well, I mean, I think we spoke about this a little earlier on the phone. I mean, we had this for a while now. I mean,
yeah. Well, then that's the other thing. That's the
March,
other thing too.
Got it, right? The beginning of March.
If you're watching this show and if you call yourself a Star Wars fan, unless again there's elements to that, there could be money problems or whatever, but most of you probably already either owned the digital version when it first came out, or you went out and bought the Blu-ray 2 weeks later.
Right, right. I bought all digital copies because now I just don't buy Blu-rays anymore. Yeah. You know, just as of now. But
I'll buy them only if they're gonna have better bonus content. And usually what that means for me, without sounding too much of a nerd, is commentary. I do like to rewatch. Dude, I'll sit there, I'll watch a movie, and then I'll rewatch it right afterwards with commentary.
Well, some of them have that, right? On a second, you change the audio track, and they have it.
Not with these, no.
They don't have that?
No, and I believe Rise of Skywalker was the only one that didn't have that, which I'm a little bummed about. Yeah.
So it didn't have that, you're saying?
No.
But some of them did have that, though.
No, they did. No, I would sit there and watch, whether it was The Force Awakens or The Last Jedi, I watched it.
No, I'm talking about the streaming versions, not the
no,
the digital.
No, I had to buy them on Blu-ray. I own them in multiple forms. Yeah.
Okay. Well, excuse me. What I'm trying to say is, I'm talking about the digital copies, the digital versions.
Yeah.
I'm talking about those. I know sometimes there's like a second audio track, like, on Netflix, when you're watching a Netflix streaming thing,
right?
You can switch the audio track, change the language or subtitles.
But then it's usually just descriptive audio, and it just tells you like remember the old Columbia pictures, the woman with the torch, like it'll say woman with torch, some shit like that.
No, I'm not talking about subtitles. I'm just talking about the.
No, not even subtitles, like the audio descriptive where it's like, turn this movie off, you fucking nerd.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Well, I'm just saying they should have something like that in there, because I've seen it before. I'm pretty sure I've seen it before with some movies on Netflix where you can watch it, or maybe not Netflix, maybe Amazon Video,
right?
Where you can put in the commentary as an audio track, because if it's in multiple languages, there's an audio option. You press audio, and I think it will change.
Yeah, you're right.
Options.
No, there's
so you can do commentary,
and you go into settings with that. Yeah, you're right. No. Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. They could do that. That's a better idea. It just makes more sense for them to do it that way. Because I feel like a lot of people are just a lot of people are just lazy to go to the store to buy movies lately. And I'm not just talking throughout the pandemic. I'm saying even beforehand. And another thing is, you go to the store and then they don't have it. Where they're sold out.
That's why you pre-order it and you get it delivered to your house.
See, that's the thing. I really hate pre-ordering stuff. And speaking of pre-orders, another thing that I just got some news that was announced to me via email.
Don't talk about Yoda.
It's not Yoda. It's the child. I got an email letting me know that actually, in fact, what's up, James?
James, you're just in time. We're talking about toys.
Yeah. And they just told me that just in time, not maybe just in time. Now I'm just reading. They just told me that they just started, believe it or not, even though everything is going on, they actually finally started in production of the life-size child figure.
Thank God.
And wait, the better part about it is I'm glad I did pre-order it, because I originally wasn't going to pre-order it. I was going to wait for it to come out. They said, it's going to take a long time, but lucky thing I pre-ordered, because I pre-ordered it and I got it for $350, right? Ooh. And now they just said they raised the price to $375. But anybody who pre-ordered doesn't have to pay the additional price. If you pre-ordered it at $350, you got it for $350. But you pay extra couple dollars.
Anybody willing to pay $350 for this has definitely got the money to do $375.
Well, I'm hoping that they don't tell you what the shipping's going to cost either. Let's hope it's not going to be expensive.
I think it's $1,000.
It'd be $50 to ship it. You don't know, because it's a big thing. It could be a big box. Might be $50 to ship it.
I don't know. I really, at this point, I just that was not in my budget. Definitely not.
I could have jumped the gun on this, like you said. All the newer characters, they're not holding their value. I might have totally jumped the gun on this, and this thing's not going to hold its value. It might just be a bomb.
The Mandalorian is in my eyes a success, and everybody else I feel agrees. And the child is just universally loved. There are people that don't even give a fuck or even know about Star Wars, but they just obsess about or share memes and post memes of the child. So, and if it's not mass production, like you said, I mean, it might hold value.
Well, it's a limited run, but they're not going to be numbered. That's what they I was upset about that.
I would be upset about that too, because if it's a limited run, you want them to be numbered. That's how you get value out of it.
Usually Sideshow numbers a lot of their statues and figures. I never heard of them doing this. I mean, maybe they have, but most of my Sideshow stuff I have is limited run. There's numbers on the box, at least if it's not on the actual statue itself, but usually on the bottom of the base, they're numbered. I can't believe they wouldn't number this. They say it's a limited run, but they're not numbering it. Probably because they're going to make so many of them that it would be stupid to have a number. What are you going to make? Because usually Sideshow makes about they make usually 2,000, 1,000, 3,000,
Yeah.
around that range. They might already have orders for 10,000 of these things, or 8,000 of these
You're
things.
gonna get yours in the mail. Your number's 2,000,002.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's probably that's the reason why. But they'll say it's a limited run, so we're going to make it from this year to that year, or like whatever. We'll have it for a
But
couple
then they're
months
gonna
for
have.
sale.
Then they'll have a second. They'll have a second wave.
They'll probably make a different figure.
Yeah.
You know,
So
maybe posed a little differently or doing something differently.
and then that's when maybe yours will be more value because it's the first wave.
Right. You'd hope so.
The first run. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I do want to give because I wanted to minimize this stream to an hour. I wanted to keep it because I mean we basically discussed everything we were going to discuss. I really wanted to come in more of a celebration just to because like you said we're proud Star Wars fans and we wanted to show our love and support for this day because it's a fun day. But I want to give a quick shout out now. The Rogue Pumpkin. That's his Instagram and his YouTube channel. And anybody can see, I mean, I'm waving my mouse so you guys can see this at home. But if you look at my icon, whether it's on my YouTube channel or just on the screen right now, and he's working on my banner as well. He's a really cool graphic artist. And if anybody's looking for work, anybody wants cool artwork done for their whether they have a YouTube content or anything else that you would want a graphic artist to do, look him up again. The Rogue Pumpkin. You can find that under that name. You can find him on Instagram and on YouTube. And I'm really happy with what he did for me. And like I said, he is working on a banner as well for me. So really, really cool kid. And show him some support if you can.
Very
so that was my quick plug and my quick shout out. Hopefully he's watching, and if not, hopefully he catches the stream a little later. I'm gonna let him know I gave him a shout out. But anything you want to add, dude? I mean, we've got another 8 minutes before we hit an hour. Anything you want to talk about really quick that you could think of that you've had in your chest that you just want to get out, like you're like Vader coming out of off the restraints. No,
yeah. Not really. I'm overall content with the last few episodes we've done. We've covered a lot of good material, a lot of new possibilities, a lot of different things Star Wars related that pretty much I can't think of anything else off the top of my head that I really want to get involved in.
Well, and here's the other thing. We're always going to have, and let's just get back to this for one other second. We're always going to have love for the original trilogy and the other movies that followed.
Right.
Whether we love the original trilogy more is irrelevant because all these movies have a place, for a place within us.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is whether the Skywalker Saga is really complete or you feel it was completed in a way, or if they're going to revisit it somewhere in the future. Here's my thing. We do have a lot of things to look forward to. Taika Waititi coming out with a movie that we just found out today. We have The Mandalorian season 2 coming out this year. We have Obi-Wan somewhere in 2021. Cassian and Andor I can really give two shits about, but it's coming out. And a female-centric Disney Plus series that we know nothing about. But there are things coming in the future. And if these things are done right, and if these things are quality, and they make us, it makes it a better and more fun time. Now, I'm not talking about previous years. I'm not talking about old trilogy. I'm not talking about us growing up or nostalgia. I'm talking about if they actually give us quality movies where the directors know what they're doing, and if they're doing like a trilogy or whatever, there's communication. If there's going to be multiple different directors for those, if there's a storyboard that's written, if there's a story that they're basing it on with actual material that they're working on as a cohesive and plausible and just a solid story, who cares if the Skywalker Saga was complete or not? That's all we care about. Just give us quality and just give us good, and then I'll be happy. And we do have a couple of good things coming up, so I'm hoping. I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the Obi-Wan series too. It's over a year away, but what are we gonna do?
Yeah, I think we're not going to see anything really new besides the Mandalorian.
It's enough. It's enough for now. It's enough for now. It is, especially with what we've gone through the last couple of months. It's definitely something to look forward to, and it's something that's as of now not delayed. So that's good news.
That's good news. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess let's wrap it up. I thank you, Mike, for coming on as always. Yet another episode of Galactic Gossip, the May the 4th be with you edition.
Okay.
Mike, once again, may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you, young Padawan.
And tonight I did something different. Tonight I did a simulcast on my YouTube and a Twitch account that I just created about a week ago. So I'm trying to build some followers on there. I'm trying to build an audience. So hopefully the simulcast does something. If not, I know I have a YouTube followership. I said that word again. That's not even a fucking word.
Fellowship.
The fellowship of the ring.
I was just thinking, you know what, Joe?
What?
Maybe, just maybe, we need to do a Lord of the Rings series.
Do we?
Yeah, I think we do.
Maybe. I do. I
keep saying fellowship.
I'm telling you, I am kind of due to rewatch that trilogy. I am.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Well, it's not really a trilogy. It's 6 episodes. Actually,
I know, and I never even seen. I know. Shame on me. I've never even seen any of the Hobbits yet.
Really?
Yeah. I know.
All right, Joe. That might be something we have to do after the quarantine is over.
Right.
You have to come. I have all 3 of them.
All right. We'll sit on your couch and we'll hold hands and eat the popcorn.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you. Like I said, Mike, thank you for coming on, and whoever's in the chat, thank you for commenting. Thank you for watching. Whoever catches this maybe later on or tomorrow or whenever you happen to stumble upon this show, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you're an avid Star Wars fan like me and Mike. Tune in for future segments of Galactic Gossip and of course other shows that I put out. Mike, I will see you on once again, probably around this Monday. We're gonna be doing
probably
another
Monday,
show.
Yeah, probably Monday will be the next show, and that's going to be I guess just your average Joe.
Yep,
just a standard issue.
Just a standard Cup of Joe Unfiltered. It's another series, another segment I do. We've been doing this basically weekly group streams with just me and a bunch of my friends, and sometimes we'll get special guests coming on. They'll just pop in. I do try to keep it somewhat topic based, somewhat scripted, but I'm also it's a segment that you guys can come on or I'll come on and we'll just shoot the shit and just talk about whatever we want to talk about. So we're not limited to really anything specific.
Well, speaking of, you know what I forgot to mention? Speaking of, today would be the perfect day that I would have received in the mail. I ordered a robo vacuum. It's like a little droid vacuum.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's so amazing that it came today on the 4th.
They knew.
They knew.
And don't forget, I got that. I still got. I got it last week. I got the Star Wars Monopoly that we're gonna have to crack open and play as well.
Well, yeah, I hope so. I hope it doesn't just sit in your closet.
No, who knows? But all right. Once again, it's been another, I believe, our 5th episode of Galactic Gossip Live.
Yep.
The May the 4th be with you edition. And Mike, thank you for coming on. And those of you that are on now,
thank you, Joe, for having me.
Anytime, Mike. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Hit that like button if you like what you see and hear. If you're not subscribed yet, please do so. Please follow me. There's going to be more things to come. Definitely, especially now because of the pandemic and I got nothing else to do. Thank you for joining. May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
All right, Mike. Have a good night. All
right, good night.
Well, just stay there. Don't go anywhere. We'll talk afterwards. Yeah. All right, have a good night, guys. Trying to end the broadcast.